I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
So I'm trying a new thing today. Hey, Feels fam. Does that feel forced? It feels a little forced, doesn't it? All right, I'm not going to use it. Anyhow, welcome. Yeah, comment, please. Facebook, Twitter, carrier pigeon, whatever. Do you like Feels fam, or do you want something else, or do you think I'm just a boomer and I'm nuts? But we're excited to have you back on another episode of the Feels Like Home podcast. Again, as we always say every week, thank you for listening. Thanks for supporting us, and thanks for supporting the people that we have on the podcast, because that's probably the most important part of this. But we actually have this week someone that I haven't known for very, very long, but he and his wife opened a business downtown in the last year, and so I've gotten to know Kazy Richmond and his wife Jessie through their business Maggie's Farm and Aromatics, which is on 2nd Street, right in the heart of downtown there, across from the law enforcement complex. And he's a fascinating guy. He also has his own nonprofit that he has with a couple of friends of his called Greenie's Outdoors. And they are planning a big polar plunge in downtown on January 1st. And so we're going to get into all this stuff and a lot of other things as well, outdoor economy, things like that. But this is a great conversation. Kazy's an amazingly intelligent and driven guy. And so I hope you enjoy this conversation with Kazy Richmond.
It's really cool.
Yes.
Like, it just it pays to be authentic, right? Like it pays really. Like, I think that's kind of like I think we're finding that out broadly. And then I feel happier, like locally, and I'm more connecting with people more locally because of that. And there's a space for everybody. There's somebody whose brain's broken like yours.
That's right.
Well,
exactly.
And before we get too deep into this discussion, because this is a good part of this discussion, Kazy Richmond is our guest today, and Kazy is with his wife, the owner of Maggie's Farm and Aromatics in downtown, and he also operates his own nonprofit called Greenies, which we're going to talk about. But I think you're right. I think when you're authentic and when you're doing your thing and not trying to put AJ Good's another example of that. AJ does not try to be somebody yet he's not.
Right.
He's, he loves the goth masks. He loves Slipknot. He loves all that stuff. Yeah. And he's not going to have somebody tell him he doesn't want to do it. Like, you shouldn't do that. Well, he's going to have some choice words for him, in all honesty. And so I think, whether it's slot cars,
all he has to do is point at his success.
Yeah, exactly.
To show people that there is a market for that.
Yeah, you can channel your energy, like really put your real energy into something. That's if you're not trying to like prop up other things. So I think that's a perfect. I don't know him, but I know this kind of this story. So
right. Yeah.
And a quick disclaimer. I sweep floors at Maggie's, so that's Jesse's baby.
Thing.
Yeah. But I'm thankful to be a small part of it.
Yeah, if you don't know Maggie's Farms and Aromatics, I can't stress the aromatics part of that enough. If I ever need my snoot cleaned out, my nose cleaned out, I just go out there and inhale very deeply, and the next thing I know, my nasal passages are nice and clear.
It's definitely in stark contrast to the smells like money motto that kind of exists too. Right. This definitely
that does clog me up from time to time.
But it's been a really interesting thing, and a really just a tremendous thing, and it's nearly pushed all of us to the point of complete and total exhaustion. Yeah. This last couple of weeks. So on Etsy, she just quit guaranteeing delivery by Christmas. Right. So that was like that was the last wave that we knew was going to hit us. And so now everybody's like able to take a deep breath and kind of, everybody check and see where you're hit. So it's like, all right. And so, and fun times. This beginning part of the year will be time to expand and play with ideas and things like that. So,
and, one of the things that I think is really interesting about the shop is, again, you were talking about authenticity. Like everything in that place is very natural and very organic in nature. And that's, I think, a real good credit to you guys because you've tried to do this the right way.
Yeah, I think that there was a real push for that. I think starting a small business, not knowing what no one knows until you try, right? And so you make all these mistakes. But I was certain that there were some mistakes that were probably pitfalls that we should probably avoid if she was really going to make a go out of this, like a legitimate go out of this, and like paying people a good wage was one of those things. And we thought, like, if there's not enough money to do that, then there's no room for this to really to be successful. So, so she was starting out paying $15 an hour. And I don't think any of the young ladies that work there are making 15. They've all kind of received raises, and they've taken on more responsibility. And man, she's got such a great group of people. And through this entire year, it's a little over a year now, she's not lost a single employee. So it's just been like, oh, okay. And, man, I've always worked really hard, and I've always seen people work really hard. And, I don't know that I've ever seen anyone work harder than her over the last couple of months, really kind of holding this thing together. So
that's awesome. It
is. It's a really cool thing. So I'm just thankful to sweep the floors.
And that's a testament to your culture, though. When you look at you're a little over a year in and you haven't lost an employee.
Yeah. I would agree.
So you've built a great work culture, and that's a hard thing to do. So
before we get into too much about Greenies here, let's talk a little bit about your background, where you're from, and things like that. I mean, I know you're a local product.
Semi-local, right? Down the holler. I grew up on Alma Omega Road, right on the Ross and Pike County line. So used to ride single speed 20-inch bicycles back to Scioto Trails, and then ride around Scioto Trails all day, and then get home by dark. And kind of grew up playing in PP Creek and doing all those things. So moved here when Jess and I moved here. We've been together forever, and we moved here, I think we were 21 and 19, so I've been here for 20 years now.
And you were away for a little bit of that, though? Like when you came back?
Yeah.
You were in school, or were you?
Yeah. Okay. So I went to college in Kentucky for a little bit. We went to Morehead State, Jess and I. I quickly found that that was just not a fit. ended up coming back, and then Jesse and I split up for about a year. I call that the good old days. Not really. But she had moved to Athens, and I stayed back here. And then I was like, oh man, I think I got to make a play here. So she,
last gasp,
yeah. So it was, So when she decided she was going to move back, we got married. She had already finished at AUC, and kind of started our lives together, just in weird jobs, just doing whatever was a job to make things happen. So bartended a long time at the dock and at B-Dubs, and kind of played in those spaces during my early 20s, and had way too much fun, and then kind of bounced around to just whatever job I thought was going to be okay. About a decade ago, I got on with Integrated Services as part of a grant program for the Dave Thomas Foundation and Wendy's Wonderful Kids, and spent a year in adoption and foster care. That kind of world, which is that's a tough place to be. That's a lot of crying. But spent a year doing that, and then spent a year afterwards with Integrated doing behavioral health locally, and then I've taken on a series of positions with Integrated Services since then. So professionally, that's where that's all been. But it's I've gotten to see a lot of different things through a nonprofit. There's a lot of different hats, right? Like everybody's just trying to get problem solved, right?
Yeah,
so it's like whoever solves the problem is the person who solves that problem.
Yeah.
So,
And really what you're trying to do, not only with Maggie's Farms, but what you're trying to do with Greenies is really help people through number one, with Greenies, trying to be outdoors and again, getting out to nature and things like that.
Yeah. I think that there's a really, I'm just going to be like incredibly like blunt about the Greenies thing. I think it's just such it's a bizarre thing to think that we haven't come together to economize outdoor recreation in Ross County, or at least a more a cohesive version of that. And I think that Greenie's the goal of that nonprofit is to get people outside, let them see the things that we have, like the resources, let them see that it makes them feel better. Healthful activity makes you feel better, and being outside is a part of that, I think. And then it's I think that I think it really opens a lot of doors in terms of like, let's get people connected to Chillicothe trails. Let's get people connected to the things that they like to do, the streams, the waterways. Let's just get people connected to our outdoors. And so I think that if broadly Greenies can just help people find their space outside. We're not trying to capture anyone or collect any person. It's just, let's try to help everybody outdoors. And then I think a real benefit to that will be that we'll see an outdoor recreation economy kind of pick up here locally. And I think that picks up people who were definitely like me, like who didn't really have a real plan, right? So people who are just kind of floating, and they have a lot of energy, and they have like, they're willing to work hard and stuff. I think that the outdoor recreation economy captures or creates a space for people who are willing to kind of think and be like that. So no, I guess like broadly, I hope that's what we do. More realistically, I'd like to have some fun, and use our space to have a good time out here.
Well, we've got, I always jokingly call Ross County the Ohio's biggest outdoor playground, because we have this wealth of things. If you like to get in the water, we've got plenty of that for you. If you want to mountain bike, we got plenty of that. You want a trail run, we got that. There's not every place can say that. Our terrain makes us a really attractive place for folks of all kinds of, even the Buck50 has proven that. Like if you want to run a 150-mile relay race with your buddies, we got a cure for that, and I think that's cool, and so I think it's really good that we're trying to better, I don't want to say better market, but better utilize our outdoor resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Greenies was actually born in Lewisburg, West Virginia. Rich Lewis, Brad Weaver, Jeff Lewis, and myself were on a bicycle trip on the Greenbrier River. I think they had 12 inches of snow, something like that. One of those guys will correct me and say I'm exaggerating or something, but Rich Lewis will correct me. If somebody's going to correct me, it'll be Rich Lewis. But no, it was 8.5, Kazy. No, we had a ton of snow on this bike trip, and it was not very fun. And Brad Weaver had got heartburn. We were at a campsite. And so Brad and I biked back to the cars and then drove to a gas station so we could get some antacid. And the lady at the gas station told us it was going to drop another 16 inches of snow the next day. so we kind of did a walk of shame back to Rich and Jeff Lewis, and got to our campsite and explained that to them. And we were all just like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So we spent the next day snowed up in a hotel complaining about how we could be home. Right. Playing outside. It was 50 degrees here.
Yeah.
And we could have been home playing outside and having some fun. And then we were kind of rattling off the resources that Chillicothe, Ross County has. And it was like, wow, we should try to do something with this.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool, because I know all those guys.
Yes. Oh, man.
What their heart is for the outdoors, Yeah.
They're good people.
Yeah. So when you talk about economize our resources, the outdoors, you're talking about like making this even more of a destination for people, and then I guess I just want to like fold that out a little bit more because my kids left here and went to college in Colorado, and I use this as an example for lots of things, mostly because they fell in love with the mountains when they were kids. When we went out there on vacation. They love to ski. And so they're like, I'm going to go to college at a place where I can go ski all winter long if I want. And that's what they've done. And they've enjoyed it. And, my daughter Caroline graduates Friday. So maybe she'll come back home this summer. But I love going to Colorado for those things. You roll into a small resort village, and there's always like some super cool outdoor store that I always go, I love shopping in this place.
Yeah.
I may not spend that much money here, but I love the fact that it's all these things that are accessible. If I wanted carabiners, there they are. If I wanted, a new backpack to hike with, they have it, and I'm like, well, I always felt like, why couldn't Chillicothe support a store like that? Like a mini REI. And we see it with bicycles, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how we have a couple of bike shops now that support the mountain bike community right here in Chillicothe, because we have lots of trails that people can go out and mountain bike on. But there are lots of people who come here to hike, but I feel like there's not a lot of support for them, and I know a lot of people do Amazon shopping for things like that, but
but you might not have to if you had something local.
Right. And I just feel like Ross County has this chance with how things are going downtown to support some businesses that support our natural resources when it comes to Mike's saying the playground of
Ohio's biggest outdoor playground.
Ohio's big. No, I like it. No, it's worth repeating. It's good enough to repeat it.
But I think we can support some things like that,
right?
Because we are trying to become a bigger destination.
Yeah,
we have lots of great resources, and then when friends who come home with my kids, they fall in love with Southern Ohio because they're like, it's so green here. All fall is beautiful. I've not seen these kind of fall colors growing up in Colorado. So they come here and recognize that we have a lot. Ohio is not what everybody tells them Ohio is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do we take advantage of that?
You can come here and have a good time if you like being outside.
Yeah.
That's the reality of that. Yeah. I think to your point, about these great stores, and I've got a store everywhere too. You know what I mean? I love it. I think that with, this is also the intention, and has been from the beginning there at Greenie's, was to have a space like this, but as a nonprofit, you wouldn't maybe have to mark up the products because when you go to those places, you understand you're going to pay those prices. Right. But running this as a nonprofit and generating earned revenue gives you kind of a different business model to wrap your head around this thing. So it does pass on some cost savings to people where it's not a gouging kind of experience. And it's okay to be gouged when you're in those places and you have to pay the extra $12, but but you know what I mean? To stay local and be a real local thing. It just we talked about this, and this is one of the reasons it became, because social entrepreneurship was where this started. And then as we were kind of working through this idea, I was like, I think we can solve some of these problems with a nonprofit. And I think that, if we're going to have like an outdoor success story here, we're going to have to create outdoor jobs.
Yeah.
So I think that it's dependent on that. Right. Sure, and so I think that if you take the profits from, or the earned revenue from nonprofits, then create the jobs with that, and then just pass that forward in that way, then that was the major goal to this thing. And I think it's really doable. So the idea is to start with a gear library this coming year. So Greenie's had done the bounce back program last year, and I'll say this, like, starting a nonprofit and running a nonprofit has given me so many new ways to fail. I mean, just every day it's another kick, you know what I mean? Where I realize that I've done something wrong, or I could have done something a little differently, or I should have definitely not done something. And I think that we did the bounce back program with a park, and I had like a plan together to disperse this gear back out to the community, but it became a little bit more difficult. And then it was just like, I've got people come into my house, my workshop, to pick stuff up, and it's not accessible. And it felt really odd, and it felt hard. And it was like, well, this outdoor gear library becomes a part of that store vision, and it becomes maybe the easiest thing to lift too. So this coming year, we're hoping to have a actual physical space in Ross County, in Chillicothe, where people are coming and they can borrow things.
Wow.
All right. So I think that later on, hopefully, I don't know how quickly, or I don't have a timeline for it, but ideally we'd like to have a store too. Like, so you could have the ability to purchase legitimate outdoor gear.
Yeah.
And then also borrow it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And we do have one outdoor shop right now, Kobe Outdoors at West
on Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Wes is a great kid, and I think his heart is really in it.
Good.
But I think he would admit too, like it's difficult to get a lot of folks super excited about it because they're thinking in their minds for some reason, like, well, okay, it's the middle of December. We're not going out on the trails today.
Yeah.
And so, I have a lot of respect for him because I think he's trying to do some other things in there too. He has some guns and things like that are also part of the hunting and fishing and so on. But I mean, I think his heart is very much in that place of saying, hey, let's try to figure out how we can support people that want to come here and hike. But now like you said, you have some gear need that you didn't think about, and I don't want to drive all the way to Columbus to go to REI. I want to come stay here.
Yeah. Or it's, sometimes it's a barrier. Sometimes the cost is a really what I mean? Like the most expensive Christmas gift I've ever gotten was a sleeping bag. And that's been my favorite Christmas gift ever because now I can go to Zaleski and do overnight backpacking in the winter when there's nobody around and there's no bugs and there's no anything. Yeah. But that would not be a wise purchase for somebody who is interested in trying this out. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that what you're talking about with Wes, you said, right? Yeah. So I think that like, maybe this is where we all help. And that's again, a Greenie's thing. Like, let's make this community, let's start some clubs where people are doing some nature hikes and, let's go find some wool socks. Let's do, you know what I mean? Like it's 2022. Yep. We can put people on Mars. We can go outside in the wintertime. Like we've got the technology. Like
not only is it 2022, but literally you make one post on Facebook, you could have 50 people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, the Children's Museum, which is just down the street here, started by, less than 5-6 women who said, we want to have a place for our families to go.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, they bring a few others with them, and next thing you know, it's a reality, right? And again, that started with a Facebook post of somebody saying, I'd like to try this. And somebody said, you know what? I actually had that same idea, and I've actually been doing some work on it already. Who knows the things, putting it out there on Facebook or on other social media sometimes is really the thing that kickstarts it.
Yeah. And that's, admittedly, this is trying to start this. Another failure of mine is like trying to do this at the worst time of my life to try to do this. Right. Failing feels better than not doing anything, but it still doesn't feel great. Right. But one of the big things that we were trying to do was get a centralized calendar of outdoor events and let people add invite you to an event. And then if that is a thing that fits into this, then I've been wanting to do a full moon bike ride for the last 3 months with people and invite people out to do that and things like that. But it's just like, there are people that understand how to do this quickly and easily. And I don't. And I'm also like, it's time. Oh man, it sounds so pretentious. I used to hate it when people would say I'm time poor. Yeah. And then it's just like, oh man, I can't, I'm 2 months late on my, but it really is like a really weird space where I'm like, I'm really having a hard time keeping up with all the things that are important. So
that makes sense.
Adding more things is tough. Well, I think the community part of that is a lift, right? So,
right. Yeah. Well, and having your real job, the one that pays the bills, having, co-ownership, because you always have co-ownership with that store. As much work as she does, even the time it takes to sweep floors, takes time, and then trying to do a nonprofit on top of it. I mean, I think we can relate on this side of the table too.
Sure can.
Yeah, too much. I mean, it's just that it is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, how do you prioritize your time? And sometimes that's easier to do than others. Yeah, right. So.
And there are a lot of times where what the right priority is, and you still can't make that happen. Man. And that's when it hits me really hard, when I know what I should be doing and need to be doing, and I still can't make that happen because of how I've mismanaged my time.
Yeah, we're it is really funny. I'm hoping that as the year starts, this next year starts, I'm hoping that it's kind of a rebirth on it. I'm hoping to get a clean slate and really, I've done better as I've gotten these last couple of years, I've done better, and I'm hoping that just trends up and I don't completely fall apart.
Yeah. I think we all do.
Yeah.
I'm taking off Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's for that, just that sort of thing.
That's great. Yeah.
I think it's important to do that. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, to take little breaks if you can. I know you try to get outdoors where you live and things like that. You hanging out in that creek at all?
Oh.
You do it? I heard a story from Brandon Haynes.
Okay.
He said that you're into like cold water therapy.
I like it.
So talk a little bit about it, especially for people that don't know it. I've been studying on this a little bit. I don't know that I'm willing to go to the depths that you are.
I will just blow your mind with how unsophisticated I am then, okay? I don't have any real method to it. I've got like that Wim Hof app on my phone where I do the breathing, and then I'll jump in my creek. We've got a creek there behind our house, and so I'll do that. I'd never measure the water, and I very rarely time to see how long I've stayed in. But if your brain is broad, like if you think broadly, and you jump into really cold water, you are unable to think broadly.
Yeah, you get focused really quick.
You can only think about one thing. And that discovery was really like, oh, that feels amazing. And so, for a couple of years, I've been doing the cold shower thing and jumping into cold water if I can. And I haven't gone to the depths that maybe some people have. Like, I know I've only talked to him one time.
Yeah,
and that was pretty recently.
He told me about it.
So, he said something about buying or getting a plunge or setting a plunge up and things like that.
Yeah.
So we were on a different level because I was talking about converting a chest freezer, but I think he'll do it a little bit. I'm anxious to see. Yeah.
If I know Brandon, and I think I do, he will. He'll find a really good way to do it and do it with some cost, that you and I can't adjust to, right? So
that's okay. Like I think that's good. That's
if it
great.
takes a deep freeze to get it done, then you do a deep freeze, right?
Like right now, I'm just jumping in the creek.
That's right. But I think that's really like I'm just having this vision of me driving by and I look down the creek and there's Kazy sitting over there in his t-shirt and shorts and immersed in the creek in mid-January.
It's wooded. It's a wooded area.
Oh, okay.
So there's no one's going to stumble upon me or anything like that. But it's been a common thing. We do some outdoor camping, and it has been known for several years that whether it's cold or not, if there's water, I will probably try to get into that water. It just feels better.
But the cold water therapy does have a lot of, as far as an anti-inflammatory and I probably studied way too much about this without really investing, actually doing it.
Well, isn't that the classic kind of a thing, isn't it? Yeah, like I've read all about this, and it's like all you had to do was take a cold shower.
Well, and the way we stumbled upon this was I was on social media and I saw a thing about what is called the vagus nerve.
Okay.
And apparently it responds to cold water therapy. And I happened to bring this up to Brandon because it was one of those nerd things that I had that I thought he might relate to. And he's like, oh, yeah. And of course, he started in about 100 things. And I said, what do you think about cold water therapy? He goes, man, I love it. Yeah. Like, we get tubs at my house, like big troughs. And I was like, well, of course you do. Like, I've known Brandon a long time and he'll do about every crazy thing you can think of. So, but then we started talking about and I started digging in more and looking into it. It's like, geez, there's actually some, and so I've been doing cold showers, but only because my wife usually goes before me and takes all the hot water. So,
we don't have a bathtub. I live in an old farmhouse and it has 5 bathrooms in it, and they've all been converted into showers.
Yeah.
So we don't have a bathtub. So it's just like, that's fun. I can't even do an ice bath at my house.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's fun. It's at least for me, it's an idea to play with, and it's a new experience.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's kind of where I know how, I understand my personality, and I understand where I'm at, and playing and exploring these kinds of ideas is a lot better than it was maybe 10 years ago when I was exploring just like not these kinds of ideas. I was just my life's a lot different.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better because of just trying new things and trying to ditch the things that didn't feel like me and that felt like, oh, this is crazy, but who cares? Like that feels great. So,
well, I mean, you could be doing a lot of other things that would be detrimental to your health.
Oh yeah.
Right? Detrimental to your mental health.
Yeah.
That's right.
And this is certainly not something that's going to do that. You might get a little cold, but ultimately,
hypothermia might be an issue.
But, there's some things. Yeah.
It's just a little thing.
Right.
So, I think the last time that we talked about you were going to try to do a polar plunge.
Yeah.
And is that going to go forward?
Yeah. So I'm talking to some folks right now, trying to do a blitzkrieg marketing, just hammer it for the next couple of weeks. I've got like the permit to close the street down.
Yeah.
And today a giant swimming pool was delivered to my front porch. And so I think that if nothing else, I'll be on Paint Street on New Year's Day, just chilling out in the cold pool, and everybody's welcome to come. Yeah. I try really hard to guard for like ego things, and like I try to watch, and sometimes things just slip through. Right. So one night I like come up with I draw up this polar plunge, and I'm like, yeah, we just need $40,000 in sponsorships, and then we should generate this and that. And then I just like pass it off like, hey, that's an easy thing to do. Let's just
see you after you guys raise 40 grand, right?
I wrote it all out, and then I thought, well, I'll just what a dope, right? Well,
listen, there is no event without a little dream and without a little drive, right? So and maybe it doesn't look like you had it on that piece of paper this year, but maybe it becomes a thing.
I think that it's a very growable event.
Yeah.
I think it scales. And I think the idea of creating an annual event on a day where a lot of people are thinking about like new starts and things like that, this kind of I think that it all kind of plays into one another. All these things work together. And I think the day and the event, I think they have a lot of promise. So this year, we were going to have free coffee, free water, and free soup. And we're going to have a 24 by 12 foot by 4.5 foot deep pool set up on Paint Street with cold water in it. And it's totally available if you want to come down and jump in it.
You can get in and hang out, or you can get in and get out.
Right on. Right. So Brad Weaver's working on the internet right now, and I think that on our website by the time this isn't live. Is this live?
No.
Okay. All right. So by the time this airs, you should be able to go to the website, and you'll be able to see like gear for us, for Greenie's gear. In that page, there should be an option to sign up for a 15-minute time slot for free. It's no cost.
Yeah.
Right. So, but you can sign up and reserve a 15-minute time slot for up to 4 people.
Wow.
So you can, and we'll start at 10 a.m. and we'll run to 2. So, this is going to be one of those things too that I made a couple of big mistakes when I was planning this, and I'm thinking that, man, I feel like I think our community is going to be able to grow this better than I could anyway. Mm-hmm. So let's see how it naturally flows. And I think that just doing it this year will get enough people aware of it that next year people have ideas about how it should look, and then we can work together with anybody who wants to be a part of that.
And you see that as a springboard for Greenies to try to raise money down the road.
I'd love to do that. Wouldn't it be great to just have crazy, awesome events? Yeah. But here's my thing with the GPS 100. This was my first experience this year with it. It's great. And it's cool, and it brings a ton of people to this area who might not be here otherwise. But I think that there's a way to capture both. I think we can break it apart. I think we can run it in sections for people who don't ride bicycles, right? Like that. Yeah. Right. I think we could shuttle out to places and then let people ride bikes and see these things. And I think there's ways to run in this extreme event, but also give it to our community too, so they can decide whether or not they want to do something like that. But I think that there's a way to kind of work both sides of this thing. And I love that flood wall. Yeah. Every time I'm on the flood wall, I'm just like, man, I want to see. So I'd like to do in anything but a boat race from maybe the annex to the bridge. Yeah. And see and the river. Every event that I have is an insurance adjuster's nightmare.
You remember that original event? anything that
That
floats
was,
with a boat race
was
was
a
part of the Feast of the Flower Moon.
WFCB,
They've
I
done
think,
it?
did that, right?
No, the
Oh
here?
yeah,
So they
I was
did
in
it-
the, I was
Are you
in the
kidding
very
me?
first one.
Stop. I swear I didn't know that happened
It
here.
was in the lake, though, right? The
It was
park
in
lake.
Yoctangi Park.
Yeah.
The E. coli levels are so high
Oh, I'm sure of it, right?
right now.
Oh, yeah. I'm 100%
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt,
No,
but that's great.
no.
No,
Yeah.
So tell me about
So
that.
this would have been when when they started the Feast of the Flowering Moon, which would have been in 1984.
something like that. Yeah.
They
'Cause they're over 40 years
They
now.
decided that they were that they wanted to do this anything that floats but a boat race, and I was in 8th grade, and my shop class, my shop teacher was building a kayak that was shaped and looked like a coffin, and that was his thing that he was going to race in the race. And so a couple of friends of mine, we decided we were going to build the fastest boat. We kind of missed the point of the contest, that it was about being crazy and goofy and having a lot of fun. So we built something that was really fast, and we probably did finish in first place when it comes to time. But one of there's a local high school fraternity called Corky's Raiders. Are you familiar with the Corky's Raiders?
Sure am.
Kevin Prickett and Todd Holdren and a bunch of them. They showed up with their boat, and they had built this barge that looked like a Roman barge, and they had people dressed the part in togas.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
It was like 8 or 12 little sections long, and it took them like 2.5 hours to get from one end of the lake to the other.
Oh my
it was
God.
so funny.
That's so
They
funny.
won, right?
That's so
they had the
funny.
best idea.
Yeah, because it's part of spectacle and part of
Oh, yeah,
race.
yeah, yeah.
It's sort of like
So-
the Red Bull
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
where,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly.
where they're pushing those little carts.
But I
those
don't know
little
why.
cars
I
down
think the radio station just stopped doing it after a while, and then it never really.
Well, I think they were having problems getting people to be involved, and like I think the creativity kind of ran out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be great to pull that back up.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, so I mean, I knew that I didn't know that it was here.
Yeah.
But I also knew that I didn't like come up with it.
Yeah, they probably
Anything
did it
that
for 10 years, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It was still going when I got here, I think.
Was it okay?
97, so it might have been 10, 15 years.
15 years.
all the cool events I want to do are just blatantly ripped off from some Little Rascals episode. You know what I mean?
okay.
It's like I want desperately to do an old school soapbox derby.
So
I
they
like to
did
finish
one.
it like at the Armory, or
They did
like
one in Chillicothe up on University Hill.
that seems irresponsible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
a crazy.
fast.
That's
Yeah.
a crazy.
That's where it was, though, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Really?
yeah. They didn't. You started. They started it
Oh,
towards
like
the bottom.
halfway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
had some foresight.
Yeah, right.
But if I remember right, it was like a qualification for Akron.
was, yeah.
Right. So
This is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. So I just think that like just bringing a bunch of fun events is that is one of the fun things that comes with an outdoor recreation economy. Like those things started becoming pieces to this
Right.
larger puzzle, and then you could pay somebody to do that. You could create a job where that was their job, was to manage and
Yeah.
do these types of things. And I just think it's like, oh wow, it'll be neat.
yeah,
I
mean, you talk about a job. Like we had Dave Huggins on,
Yeah.
and Dave talked about how $150 has turned into a full time job for him.
Yeah.
Of putting that thing on every year, it's just become so much work. So I can see that. I'm waiting for somebody in town to start the business of doing mountain bike tours.
Yeah.
I am so shocked that that hasn't happened yet, and there's probably lots of reasons why. But the first time I went mountain biking, I had hiked a lot of those trails, but I really had no idea where I was going on a bicycle. Those trails are different when you're on a mountain bike compared
That
to when you're
speed.
hiking. Right? Yeah, they just change, and so I ended up going on like Annie's ride, which has like 50 guys on bikes, and that's how I like learned to. I actually rode with Rich Lewis on one, and like he was teaching me like, hey, this trail up here, this is what happens. You got to be prepared for this. And like somebody giving tours of Great Seal, there's enough trails now that I think that I'm surprised that somebody's not already doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could collect that and not lose equity in our own community. Man, wouldn't that be great?
Yep.
So I love that. I love that idea.
But there's a part of me that believes that Greenies might be the best way to do that, where we're at least we found a repository for all these ideas, and then we can try to whittle it down from there to say, all right, you know what, we're big in mountain biking right now, so let's do this thing, or let's explore this thing.
yeah.
you know, because look, we have canoe liveries and people that, you know,
Sure.
set up kayak floats.
Yeah. That's right.
We don't really have anybody to do a mountain bike tour or things like that, you know, so.
We were getting, you know, like Jamie does that. You know, it was like,
Yeah.
hey, we got a ride on Sunday
Oh, yeah,
afternoon or things like that. That stuff is happening.
Sure.
Yeah.
But not everybody hears about that.
Right.
Especially if you're from out of town.
Yeah.
You roll into Chillicothe and you're like, I don't even know where to park my car
Right.
to go.
This is big. Horizon Fiber Internet is ready
Let them get you hooked up and power your Wi-Fi network.
with the speed and reliability that only a 100% fiber network can do.
Horizon is ready to help you do what you do better. With real people, real rates, and a real service.
Connect with them today, and the first month is free, plus no contracts and no data caps. Call 740-772-8331
Or visit horizonconnects.com/Chillicothe to sign up today.
Yeah, I'd met a couple like in Great Seal. I've never, first off, backwards, I've never ridden a mountain bike on mountain bike trails. I still haven't. I rode my steel road bike on at Bailey's with Nika and some of those things, but my mountain bike was broke down, and I'm not like a mountain biker, and some people think that I am, and I'm not. I'm not like any kind of biker except that I just like to go play and look on I like to ride my bike and look around at stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not fast or anything like that. And I've never ridden a mountain bike, but but no, I met a couple in Great Seal, and I had asked them where they were going to eat after this. They were from Columbus and they were headed back, and they're like, well, we're driving to Asheville. And I was like, Asheville, you know, what's up there? And they're like, well, it's just like they've got a local place to eat. It's not as commercialized as kind of, and I was like, wait, and they thought Bridge Street was Chillicothe.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was the same day Chili Fest was going on. I was like, please go down and get a bowl of chili and stop at one of the breweries. Or they're like, what? Yeah, multiple breweries. Yeah, it's just amazing. So no, I think you're right. Like this is, and also I'm not a huge, I think that something happened a while back where it's just I realized that kind of scarcity mentality isn't real, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like all of these things can exist, and all of these things can exist together.
Yep.
And the responsibility of us as a community is just to support them.
Yep.
And I think that we'll all be okay. So it's like if it's your passion, something's it's gonna stand out as your passion, and people are gonna be drawn to that. That's right.
Well, what I find with people is it your passion enough if somebody's got a better idea to do it that you're willing to jump on and let go of yours,
Right.
than you are to say, nah, I'm going to do this my way. That's the bigger hurdle,
That's a
right?
good point.
Because I've got it in my head a certain way, but that idea is probably going to get done quicker.
Yeah.
Now I'm challenged with how do I meet in the middle there?
Right.
And
That's a good one.
But I think what we've built in Chillicothe is the idea that I don't have to own the whole space. I mean, we could certainly get that way. We have a big, more broadly known brewery in our downtown, and then we have the micro, of Old Capitol Brewing. They peaceably coexist, right? Like, I mean, I think when you don't have to just dominate the space, things get a little easier because you can say, hey, let's partner together. Let's do this together, right? You've got that idea. I like that idea, but I have some input. Let me give you that input. Oh, you don't want to go with that? All right, I want to see it get done.
Right, yeah.
And when people don't have to take credit, to me, that's the best time.
No,
the best space to get things done.
Oh, yeah.
How do you like working in the nonprofit realm? You're in the chamber, right?
Yeah.
And that is. And so you do get to disperse that like that. Does that feel good?
Well, yes. But when I came in 2019, I was a lot like that. Like, okay, I've got all these ideas. I want to get these things done right now. And I had to take a step back and say, wait a minute. I've got other groups that I can work with to achieve these goals.
Right.
Is it more important that I take credit for it or that it gets done? Well, it was a no-brainer for me. I wanted to get done. So two-way on 2nd Street gets done. Parking meters get done. Sorry, people, don't hate me. But, those when you don't care if you get all the credit for it, it's not that big of a deal for it to get done.
I like the transparency of a nonprofit too.
Yeah,
like where you can just say, yeah, and you're right. The credit goes to that, and then it's just the transparency of it is just like, well, look at here's the way this is all spent and laid out.
Yeah,
and if you want to, I think that I think that these things will be a real key factor.
Yeah,
having some really successful nonprofits. And I work within a really successful nonprofit right now. So it's a really like privileged point of view that I've got.
Yeah.
So, but to see how those can impact, I think they're big keys for us.
Yeah.
And so I'm not upset that if Greenie's isn't the only outdoor nonprofit.
Yeah.
I love Chillicothe Trails. I totally love Chillicothe Trails.
Yeah,
I love
too.
Ty McBee. A guy's brain is special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really
like that's a sharp dude, and I really enjoy talking to him. And but no, I think that there's room for all of us to make this thing better.
Yeah.
And I think that it gets pretty. Man, people are so smart, and these things are so transparent that if somebody's not doing things above board, it's really easy, and they just don't last. It fizzles really quickly. But I think that if we make a really kind of, I hate altruistic, but if we make a really carefully crafted approach to just taking care of our community, I just think that this is a really interesting way.
Yeah.
To impact.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way that you guys have approached it already, just by trying to help out first and then see how it grows and hopefully flourishes. You know? And then, with the shop, you've brought a unique approach to what you guys do downtown.
Yeah.
I mean, I joked about the aroma before, but honestly, like when you walk in the place, you know that you're in a place that's not like a lot of others.
It's pretty cool.
And I'm seeing things being made in front of me.
Okay, so that's my Gatlinburg business model. Did I tell you about this?
No, I gotta hear
So no,
this.
I've got my Gatlinburg business model. My theory is that taffy is not real, and it's never been real. It's probably old recycled bubble gum, but you see this machine stretching taffy, so your brain is like interested. There's people making or doing something, and so you stop to look at that.
Yeah.
And if you stop to look at that place for 1 second, then you get a secondary sense, like your nose gets hit. If you stop in front of that store, even on the outside, you will get a hit. And then you're now I'm 2 senses connected to this thing. And so it's like, I'll walk through. But I think it's a pretty neat thing.
With popcorn, right?
Right, yeah.
You go past, or a bakery, you go past a bakery, you look in, you see something that looks really, really good, then the smell hits you. And then you're like, oh man, now I got to go in there and get something.
When the door opens.
That's right. Yeah, it's almost like they just, get that shepherd's hook out and just draw you in.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting theory. I really, that makes a lot of sense. Having been to Gatlinburg in the past, I can tell you, like
the taffy pool. That's not really taffy.
Yeah,
it's like
right?
No, it's the same. It's been there since '82. It's like it's like
some sort of polymer.
It's got a switch on the wall. He turns it off and it stops and covers it up.
Next day it's the same. Throw a little
Takes
water.
the blanket off.
It's just like a series of belts that drive some mechanical machine. It's not really taffy. Yeah.
We apologize to the people of Gatlinburg.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Taffy puller out there.
All you taffy
Realizing now that the reach
enthusiasts.
of Feels Like Home is so deep that we're hitting people in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Sorry.
That's great.
No, I mean, first of all, thanks for coming on, because I think this was a great conversation, and I think for what you're doing, and just I think who you are as a person is very refreshing. We joked earlier upstairs about ADHD brain and things like that, but I feel like you're a guy that has a lot of ideas flying, but at the same time, you are actively trying to get those things done, and that's perfect to see.
We'll see. It's growth, right?
That's right.
It's
not for growth's sake, but just trying to grow. And I would encourage you this way. Like, I get it. Failing at things does not feel great, but take the kernels. The holes that are left in the bottom of the popcorn bucket are still of value, because, all right, I had less of them than I did last time.
Yeah.
Everything else was still pretty good. So take those kernels and just try to grow from them,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
For sure.
But good luck to you. I'm super excited about what the future holds for Maggie's Farms and for Greenies. And, And hopefully we'll still be talking about this 5-6 years from now.
It'll be neat to see. Hopefully we'll have some cool events and things like that.
Yep.
But I will be down on Paint Street on New Year's Day.
That's
It's the same section of street that was set aside for
Sand in the Streets.
Sand in the Streets. Yeah.
So right there in front of the courthouse in 50 West.
Yeah. So I'll have a pool down, and then we'll try to start a marketing.
So is it a big inflatable pool?
No. Okay. This is a steel framed rectangular 12 by 12 foot wide, 24 feet long.
Wow. But pretty easy to put up and take down,
we'll see. That'll be fun.
We're about to find out.
Right. Yeah.
So do you need volunteers for that?
We're going to need a lot of things.
Yeah.
So Maggie's farm has been really good about sponsoring this event. so that's been a hurdle that we've been able to overcome, and I think that we're going to maybe. One of the girls is starting into photography, and I've asked her if she would maybe photograph this event too.
Yep.
So I think that. So Maggie's has given back in a few different ways on this, but I think that this is going to be a fun one. So, and I'm hoping that ideally there were going to be some hot tubs, so you could, but again,
Get warm afterwards.
Yeah. What a dope, right? Yeah. Let me just add a hot tub and
baby steps, man.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Maybe this year you don't have them, but next year you do.
I think this is going to be about perfect. You know what I mean? This feels pretty relaxed and no frills, and I really made myself sick over it. And at this point, and then I got to a certain point where I was just like, this is like exactly what you are trying to not do. So let's make this pretty chill.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. It's going to be a fun day.
So where can people find you on the web?
So we're on our Facebook. We've got a Facebook page, greenies.outdoors.org. I didn't know that there's a popular dog treat that's also called
Greenies. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I could have told you that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wish.
I probably should have.
Yeah, somebody did. The place is going to be called Octopus Outdoors. That was Courtney Lewis's name for the place.
Yeah?
And Rich and I were like, no, that's a dumb name. I was really exactly the opposite.
Story about stuff like that?
Yeah.
So Courtney's idea for the Children's Museum was Mighty Children Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, that doesn't say anything. Why would we choose that? She was very insistent about it. And to the point where, my wife and the other founders said, all right, well, Mighty Children's Museum, that's what it'll be. And man, people talk about it that way, and the marketing aspects of it are tremendous. So she knows what she's talking about. So maybe she was onto something there.
That was actually, it was Rich and I wanted to call it Octopus Outdoor. And Courtney's like, stop it. You're both idiots. You're both idiots. And you can't do that.
Well, that blows my whole story now.
Yeah. No, I just listened to Courtney because I've just recognized that that's a human being that she's just much smarter than me. And I just listened to her.
She's a creative man.
The intellectual power in that household up there in Carlisle Hill between her and Rich.
Good people.
Has to be pretty immense, right?
Yeah.
So
it's something else. Rich and I did theater together. That's how we met.
All right.
It's back in the day at OUC.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
But hey, again, thanks for coming on today. You gave us the website. Folks, January 1st, what else are you going to be doing?
That's right.
I mean, the bowl games aren't on till later. So you might as well go down and take...
It's Sunday. There's no college football on Sunday.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's why it was a perfect... Yeah, there's no football on. You can't... Or no college football on Sunday.
I'm going to have to check that. Check your local listings, folks, to make sure.
New Year's Day?
But
always games on New Year's Day.
There's got to be... Well, and it's a Sunday, so usually NFL will be in playoffs at that point. Ooh. Anyhow... Regardless of that, go down and take a nice little cool dip in Kazy's pool, and
what's the name of the event again?
The Polar Plunge.
The Polar Plunge. Okay.
Greenie's Polar Plunge.
Yep. You can even look that up probably on Facebook, right?
Yeah, Facebook, and then also Greenie's www.greeniesoutdoors.org.
There you go. Well, again, Kazy, thanks a lot. It's great having you on, and hopefully that event's a success, man.
Yep. Love you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
It feels a little strange, but I don't feel alone. We just settled in it all.